Welcome back to the KIX 96.5 Morning Show. We love featuring artists that you should know about on the show, and today we're heading to Australia to chat with country music artist Jax Tonic. Jax is based out of Sydney, Australia. He was in cover bands in the early 2000s. He was on his own for a while. He took a break to raise a family, and now he's back full on, releasing songs that are climbing up the Australian country charts. His latest single, Sitting Here on the Beach, has been in the top 10 for the last 5 weeks. We're stoked to have Jax Tonic on the show. First, Jax, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah. First, Happy New Year. What did we do in Sydney to celebrate?
Oh, mate, I had a few friends having some drinks and just having a beautiful dinner and just watching fireworks with the kids. I've got a couple of kids, so the main thing was watching the fireworks and just bringing in the new year, but very relaxed.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, you mentioned the kids. You took time off. It was kind of funny. You met your wife when you were like getting out of music. So now you're back in it full on. What does she think? She must like it because she's in the sitting on the beach video.
Yeah, no, she does love it. We did meet. We did meet at a point where I was, I suppose, getting back into a day job, and she always had to put up with the guitar and me playing at barbecues, friends drinking wine and beers, and just hanging out, and she always had to put up with a bit of songwriting in the background as well. I think every person who has a songwriter in the house deals with a little bit of frustration, but. Yeah, no, she's been a big supporter, and she's stepped up and she's come along for the ride and jumped in the video, and we gave her a little bit of a push for that, and it was great to have her in there.
Yeah, well, she looks good, and everything else looks good, so that's a plus as well, Jack.
Yeah, she does.
COVID,
she does.
I mean, you guys got rocked with COVID. That kind of got you back in the game. Was that it? Sitting around playing guitar, you're like, what the hell? Let's do this again.
Yeah, look, I think like everybody, I was working from home. We were in lockdown, and as I said, it just showed how much that guitar and the songwriting meant to me. And I ended up working from home and doing a lot of Zoom meetings with clients in my day job and things like that. And I was able to songwrite and get on the guitar, and it wasn't far to go. It was the next room or so in the house. So I wrote all these songs, and this is the result of them, I guess. In the last year, we've released 5 songs. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're knocking it out of the park, that's for sure. We had Highway 95 on. They said COVID wasn't that bad where they were. How was it in Sydney?
Yeah, look, there were times where it was pretty bad. Especially the unknown and people working out whether they were going to get vaccinated or not, and just the spread of it and the different strains. But at the end of the day, it was just a change of life and the unknown. And let's face it, in life you've got to adapt, and you're constantly adapting, and we don't know what's around the corner. And thus the reason why I'm following the dream as well with the music and trying to do that. Mate, I think we got through it, but it's definitely changed the world in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I heard you say in one interview, you used to write songs, but they weren't that good. What's changed now?
I guess you just develop as you become as a songwriter, you develop, and your ear improves, and you know what sounds good and what doesn't. So, when I say they weren't that good, that's being pretty picky from a commercial perspective. You know what I mean? Like what plays on radio, and you hear artists talking about this all the time. I heard Eric Church talking about it. Talking about releasing songs that people want to hear, and radio songs and things like that, compared to something that might be an album song. And he might, for example, as many artists do, like myself, you might really love a song, but it might just be an album song, not a commercially viable radio song. So, yeah, when I say that, I kind of tongue-in-cheek saying it about getting your song played on the radio, I guess. I had a few songs which were meaningful to me and sounded good to me, but they may not have sounded great to a commercial audience or a larger audience, I guess.
Well, and your songs you're kind of, you have a lot of emotion. You're a storyteller. You try to make things relatable. So yeah, every one of them's going to touch everybody a little different.
Yeah, well, this is it too. As you get older, you have more life experience.
Yeah.
And definitely songs are going to touch people in different ways. And as you get older or you get more mature and you write songs, your stories become a lot different to, writing about breaking up with relationships when you're younger and things like that, compared to, I guess, family, life, death, kids and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a really strange thing, but as I said, I started releasing these songs, had a 15-year-odd break where I was out of sort of releasing songs in the music industry as such, but still writing. And during that time, I guess you just you live life and you come up with a whole lot of things to write about. And now it's happening at the age of 50. I released my first song last year. And yeah, I guess there's a lot of interesting content in what I'm writing about, I guess, or there will be even in the future with future releases.
Yeah, more is coming. Go check him out. Jax Tonic. He's at jaxtonic.com. He's on Facebook, Instagram. His latest single, Sitting Here on the Beach, is out now, and you're going to hear it here in a few minutes. Well, I mean, and you mentioned it. You have Country Boy, This Old Truck, and you grew up on the beach, right? I mean, were you ever living in the country at all?
Yeah, well, look, I've always gone to the country and sort of visited the country and things like that. I sort of grew up to the age of 6 years old in Western Sydney, which was, we'd always go to the country. I'd go with my dad. He'd take me shooting, inland properties, and, I learned a lot about farms and properties and things like that. And my mum grew up in Forbes, which is a country town. So I'm a big believer that things sort of flow through your genetics, and as you have children, you see those children doing things and thinking things and just acting out, even eating foods that, their parents loved. It's just bizarre. So I'm kind of a big believer that genetically it almost gets passed down, and I kind of feel like the country thing came through my mum growing up in Forbes, and then everything she used to talk about. And then, we sort of moved towards the coast because I had like asthma, and the doctor seemed to think, and my parents seemed to think, that the asthma would clear up when we visited the beach and the beaches. So we that was a big reason why we kind of moved as well. But yeah, go figure. I ended up playing music, and I just couldn't help putting on cowboy boots when I was doing the Dukes of Hazzard cover show. I was the Duke boy. From year 2000 to 2007, playing 5 nights a week in pubs and things like that. And I had cowboy boots and little press button stud shirts, and I had a cowboy hat. Like it was just bizarre. It was quite bizarre.
Wow, that's hilarious.
It came out in me, I guess.
Yeah. Doing U2 covers, dressed like a cowboy.
Yeah, mate, that's exactly right. But hey, U2 as well. They got a lot of cowboy in them as well.
Oh yeah.
And they got a lot of America in them. And I guess I was influenced in the early days when I saw Bono and BB King in that concert when I was 14 years old, and that was one of the first main concerts I saw. And just to see those guys play, and that just imprinted where I was going. But I always listened to country music as well, starting from Elvis Presley and Elvis and Johnny Cash and Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. All that stuff was floating around on records in our household. So U2 was kind of, a little bit rebellious music going through my late teens, and, the political stuff that they used to sing about, and standing up for yourself and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it was important to me seeing that and seeing the depth in the lyrics and what they were writing about, but how they were wording it. Country music is a lot more probably easier to well, in a way, it's not as much of a riddle in terms of the lyrics, and not as much mystery. It's more direct storytelling, I find. But this is just the natural way that my music has gone. I almost can't listen to much else other than country music nowadays, which is quite funny because it all rubs off on the kids as well, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you mentioned your kids. You have a son. Just wait till he gets older. My kid's 22. And he like steals my clothes. I'm like, dude, you're morphing into me. I mean, yeah, we morph into our old man, and then our kids morph into us. It's crazy. Just wait. Totally. It'll get even more. The journey you had, your song, you mentioned it, storytelling, but I think you do kind of get that U2 emotion because you could totally feel it in the journey you had, that song.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. A lot of people almost come up to me and say, that's their favorite song.
Oh yeah.
There's a huge amount of depth in that, and it all comes back to personal life experiences as well. And as a songwriter, when you're writing something, I think at the end point when people get it and they feel something and they relate to it, they almost feel what you've been through if it is personal. And yeah, in a lot of ways, we've all gone through ups and downs in life. We've all dealt with different types of situations throughout our life to get where we are. And, you know, you can't arrive without the journey you've had. It's such an important lyric.
Yeah. Well, you could have wrote that song when you were 25.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, you know, people throw it out there and say, oh, it's not about it's not about the end point. It's about the destination. It's about the journey. You know what I mean? And they throw it out there lightly, but in a lot of ways, it can be quite heavy too for some people. And I've had a lot of people relate to that song. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's saying, you know, put your hands up with me. We're all together in this. There's other people who've been through things that you've been through. And ongoing, I want to be an advocate for all those sorts of things, mental illness, you know, all these things that people go through in life, trauma situations, and how they have to deal with them and come out of them. So that song I can go as deep as you want into that song. Let's keep it a bit lighthearted here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's definitely not disregard what that song's about.
Oh, it's a great tune. The journey you had. Go check him out. Jax Tonic. He's at jaxtonic.com. Go check him out. He's on Facebook, Instagram. His latest single, Sitting Here on the Beach, is out now. Well, congratulations, because we talked to Highway 95, and they were jacked that they were going to be at the Tamworth Country Music Festival this year. Well, guess what? Jax Tonic is going to be at the Tamworth Country Music Festival as well. And are you playing 2 days, Jax?
Yeah, no, I'll be there playing about 5 or 6 days.
Oh, wow.
I'll be there the end of January for a week. I'll take my wife and my kids up. Took my daughter there last year for 9 days. Her and I went together, and mate, she was my little wing girl, my little wingman girl, and we had a ball. So she was making sure I was taking the family up this year, and we're going to have a great time. And I'll be playing a number of shopping centres, stages, and fan zone stages, and all over the place. You can check out my website. The tour page will let you know about the gigs, jaxtonic.com. And look forward to seeing people there. Come up and say hi to me. I can't wait to meet everyone.
Yeah, go and check it out, and go and visit him when he's at the Tamworth Country Music Festival. You're in good shape, Jax. Is this from just being on the beach all day long? What are we doing?
I've got a younger wife, I guess. And what happens is she keeps me in line and keeps me checked. I'm trying to go to the gym. I'm doing these high-intensity interval training classes at the moment, and I'll tell you what, I feel great when I do them, so I can't get enough. I want to do more and be fit. Look, the reason why I'm probably into it is when I was younger, I was a sprinter. and I was a sportsman. So I was heavily into sprinting. I think when I was about 15 years old, I was doing 100 meters in 11.4 seconds. So then I got shin splints for a couple of years and got put off there. But I used to love playing rugby, football, cricket, all sorts of sports. I love watching the American sports as well. Basketball. My son just everywhere he goes, he's shooting hoops with me in the yard, and he's like, Steph Curry.
Wow, sweet. That's awesome. But yeah, and basketball I think is getting huge in Australia. So he's all over it.
Oh, my son's all over it. We had to get shoes for him. He's 9 years old, and he goes and throws shots from like way beyond 3-point marks, and he just swishes them straight in. It's just hilarious. So he's just been to his basketball camp. We're on holidays at the moment, and it's one of his main things. He loves it. But my daughter, she loves the sport as well, and they're both pretty quick. So it helps.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It helps.
Keep him at it. This Old Truck, you co-wrote this song. How much are we co-writing? Do we enjoy this?
Yeah. I love co-writing with people. I tend to write a lot by myself, just naturally. I don't know what it is about that, but I've co-written, and I co-wrote this song with Ronnie Judo, This Old Truck. And, I just went to him and I said, I've got this idea, it's like the lifetime of an old truck and all the memories, because every truck you see on the front of a property, they're all broken down or rusting, and they've all got so many stories, many memories. I thought, let's write a song about it. It's goodbye to this old truck, and he loved the idea, and we co-wrote it over Zoom, and it did pretty well. I think that song sort of resonated with a lot of people.
Oh,
and it's a great song. I really love that song.
Yeah, and it's kind of a metaphor for all kinds of things you could throw in instead of just the old truck. Well, let's get everyone jealous real fast, Jax, because you're in Sydney, Australia. If you go and watch Sitting Here on the Beach, you're going to be like, this is paradise. How far are you from the beach, Jax?
I live pretty close to the beach. I'm only probably a few hundred meters from the beach. Which is quite hilarious because if I walk out my front door with cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, people turn and they have a bit of a look. When we were filming the video, we filmed that video, the music video, at a place called Castle Rock Beach, which isn't far from here. And it's a great spot. It's a magic spot. The weather wasn't that great on the day, so you can't really see into the water that clearly. But it's quite shallow, and it's one of the best spots in Sydney Harbour, where a lot of boats go and anchor, and it's quite shallow and green, and it's a pretty magic spot for living right near a city, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. You got to go check it out. Sitting Here on the Beach by Jax Tonic. And you love kayaking, paddleboarding. How much do we get time on the water?
Not enough, and the proof of that is that I had to wash down the kayak after winter with some soap and a sponge to get the rain, the dirt and everything off the kayak to get it back. But as I said, I'm trying to balance. It's not easy, but you're trying to balance your day job, you're trying to balance your music career, and you're trying to balance your fitness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think you get to a point where it gets to a point where it sort of all starts to balance out a little bit. It's never perfect. It's always up and down. Life's up and down, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, we're in Wyoming. Cowboys everywhere. You like horseback riding. Where do we ride horses at in Sydney?
Yeah, I love horse. I've always loved horse riding. Really going back, I used to ride down at. I used to ride on country properties wherever I got the chance. But I used to enjoy going down and riding a horse at the beach down at Kurnell. They used to have horse riding there, and you'd ride the horses right down to the end of the sand and the edge of the water, and then they'd face the water, and as soon as you pull the rein and turn the horse around, it would just gallop straight back for home. and part of that galloping was on beach. And it's amazing. It's amazing to ride that horse on the beach as well. But yeah, I just a little bit rusty on the. I can't say I'm the best, horse rider, but any chance I get on a horse. And we've got horse riding up the coast. We go for kids camps. I took my daughter for a father and daughter camp, and we rode horses up there as well. She took to it quite well. She jumped on, and I was quite amazed that she naturally got on the horse and did a bit of a gallop. So
I can handle that. Horseback riding on the beach, that'd be nice. I could take that.
Yeah. But the dream, mate, the dream for me, Jeff, too, would be to have a property one day as well, and start to have my own horses on that property too, and animals. And that's just a little dream of mine, just sitting in the back there. I'd love to have a property.
Yeah, after he gets, like 10 million streams, then maybe he can. Maybe. He might be able to afford feed for the horse, maybe, but that's about it. You had a huge 2023. Absolutely. What's the goals for 2024?
The goals for 2024 definitely to just keep getting good music out there, and just building that fan base, and just getting people saying that the music sounds really good and they love it and they want more. That's really the goal. And I do gigs every week. I'll do a couple of gigs, and I do acoustic gigs at local pubs and bowling clubs and different things. And I love getting down and just breaking down a song acoustically on an acoustic guitar. But ultimately, I cannot wait until we start getting a bit more of a following, and I can get up on a big stage with a band and really rock it out, because that's where I came from. I came from playing in bands. I came from gigging. I'll take any opportunity. So, just playing lots of gigs, lots of shows, building the profile, and getting out some really good songs, and then hopefully developing to the point where we can do a bit of touring. And I'd even love to tour internationally as well, come over to the States and Nashville, and that's a big dream of mine, to get over there. I've had a few people work on my songs, like the first three, On the Front Foot, Country Boy, and The Journey You've Had, mixed and mastered in Nashville. Got Station West, Luke Wooten's studio there to mix and master those songs. But I'm working with a producer now, Rod Motby, Tracking Dog Studios here in Shellharbour, down south of Sydney. And he's just doing a great job. He and I, and we had a little international keyboard player play on sitting here on a beach from Nashville. So we get musicians playing on my songs from Nashville, pretty high up musicians. I almost fell over when I found out who was playing the keys on that song. But yeah, really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Going on, and that's the plan for 2024. I think, just to immerse myself and meet people like you, and talk about what I'm doing and the art behind it all, and support other artists as well. I'm a massive supporter of other artists and how important it is for them as well. We're in this boat together.
Exactly. Yeah, we got to help each other out as much as we can. That's for sure. Go and support him. Check him out. JaxTonic.com. He's on Facebook, Instagram. His latest single, Sitting Here on a Beach, is out now, and you're going to hear it right now. Jax, thanks so much for coming on, buddy.
Thanks, Jeff. And to all your listeners as well, thanks so much for listening.
It's Jax Tonic. It's KIX 96.5.